heard that there was supposed to be a storm, but it was really just supposed to be heavy rain.
To what they're calling now an extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane.
Life-threatening and catastrophic flooding and the potential for sustained power outages.
Did not expect a full-blown hurricane. My son at the time was only 3 weeks old. We lost power for 7 days, 90+ degree days. Oh gosh, this is probably gonna get pretty bad. I've been with Sunbelt. It will be 5 years this coming November. I work as a recruiter as part of the talent acquisition team. A few years ago, we bought this farm, which is a family compound, so I share it with my parents. My mom is the other horse person in the family, so we divvy up the horse and farm responsibilities. Cinnamon, I think, is 25 now.
Wow.
And Max is just a little bit older, 26 or 27. Everybody pulls their own weight. Everybody does some share of the work. I'll take Jamie outside and we'll go, and maybe if we have the irrigation system running, we might move the sprinkler, throw some extra hay if it's the winter time, or top off water buckets or things like that. Leading up to the storm, it wasn't supposed to come here. So in terms of preparedness, we were wildly unprepared. Wasn't until maybe like the night it was happening that they were like, oh gosh, this is probably gonna get pretty bad. Which by that point it was too late to really do anything about it. Yeah, my son at the time was only 3 weeks old, so we were still getting up quite a bit at night. One of the early morning wake-ups is just incredibly loud outside. The wind was howling. Like all of the trees and like shrubbery along the house were just like whacking the side of it. And then the next morning, I guess probably around like 7 a.m. or so, my husband and I got up and the wind was still pretty strong. And we went out the garage, and at least 4 50-foot plus pine trees had fallen across the driveway there. And then as you went further out, you could see trees from our neighbors had fallen and smashed the fence. Not only like was the fence smashed, but some of the trees that had fallen had actually managed to pop fence posts up out of the ground. Power lines were down, and at that point it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, this actually was like a legitimate hurricane. You know, the horses were obviously terrified, but they were okay. It was scary though, because I mean, like nobody had power, hardly anybody had gas. All the way to the back was wooded. Throughout the year, we had worked to remove the roots and all of the other branches and get it seeded, get it fertilized and ready for the horses. And it was finished like on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then that Thursday night into Friday morning, the hurricane hit and ruined everything. So because all of these trees were more than 200 feet away from the house, the insurance company didn't contribute anything to the repair of the fence or the cleanup of the trees. Kind of almost looked like a mini tornado had come through. The financial aspect of, you know, putting in a fence and having all of that done, and then, you know, literally within 48 hours it was gone. So you kind of went from this, you know, high of like great, like things are coming together, like our dream is being imagined, and then to kind of just literally see it smashed to smithereens was devastating. Like, oh gosh, like this isn't the type of vision I had for like, you know, my first, you know, few months of like motherhood, or, you know, even like, you know, raising a child. It's like, oh, you come out to the country to have a nice, you know, farm lifestyle with horses and fishing and just being in nature, and then to have nature kind of turn on you and turn something that was like your vision into something that was really terrifying and then hard to look at for such a long time. Not only did we still have a lot of like hurricane cleanup that needed to happen, like all of the medical bills from having a baby started to roll in around that same time. So we weren't expecting to be hit with such a financial burden. I had actually decided to go up to the support office for the holiday party, and had run into some of our, you know, team leadership there, and the one manager was talking about how, you know, she had applied for the ERF because she did completely lose her home. And I was like, I didn't know we had that. I did look into it and thought like, okay, like every little bit's gonna help at this point. In exploring just the ERS website, I applied for the natural disaster one, and then they also had one for medical relief, which I decided to submit for as well. I was like, okay, like I'm gonna give it a try. For the natural disaster relief, it was really as simple as indicating like what natural disaster had impacted you. For the medical one, that one was a little bit more in depth, but still very straightforward. And then, check showed up in the mail, like this overwhelming sense of like, oh my gosh, like we are so blessed in this moment. A mental and emotional toll that I wasn't really expecting or had experienced before. Yeah. An emotional roller coaster is definitely the longest roller coaster of my life, I think. Watching your baby like learn to do new things, like rolling over and gets his first tooth and things like that, and then followed by the low of like, oh crap, here's another bill. In our marriage, I always joke that my husband is like the emotional one. But no, that was definitely me. I feel like there's a little bit of a stigma around utilizing these types of benefits for whatever reason, but honestly, it was relief. You should definitely consider you contributing, and hopefully if you ever find yourself in that situation, that you would utilize that benefit and be thankful that you contributed and that your team members are as well. The money that you're contributing is going directly back to a team member in need. It's all staying within like the Sunbelt family. If you feel like you need help, then ask. If you never ask, the answer is always no.